Pump up the jam.
Yes.
Pump it up.
Pump
I
it
do.
up.
I do not know how I can ever go after somebody who can just come up with things like spackle on the psyche. How do you come after a Saint Germain when he just spackles on the psyche? Like I can't follow that kind of wit, but I will do my best to cover today's news. This is Yarrow Cooper Monday morning, high at 9 news, and my article is about New York. Gotta loosen up for this one. Eric Adams, New York mayor, New York City mayor. Let's get to it. Eric Adams vows crackdown on illegal New York weed shops. Mayor Eric Adams is on high alert, vowing crackdown on the plethora of illicit cannabis shops that have sprouted up like weeds all across New York City, which is now threatening the viability of state licensed operators that have yet to open. Adams, during a Thursday City Hall press conference, said the legal weed market is under threat from the large black market and counterfeit sales flourishing throughout the 5 boroughs. Unlicensed cannabis stores are threatening a budding legal market. An economic opportunity for our city, Adams said. We can't allow those who cut the line to undermine the legal market. We need to get it right. The mayor, a retired police captain, said he was appalled after seeing the packaging for the cannabis products sold by illicit peddlers that appeal to youth, including 2 named after kids' breakfast cereals, Captain Crunch and Trix. They were on display at the press briefing as Adams held up 2 purple packages, 1 legal and 1 illegal, that looked exactly the same. We need to go back to Albany, the mayor said, to get the legislator to outlaw the design and colors and packaging that appeals to underage kids. These graphics, they speak volumes of what's being sold, he said. New York City Sheriff's Office Cannabis Task Force recently conducted inspections at 53 locations of suspected unlicensed cannabis operators and issued 500 civil violations as well as 66 criminal court summons. More than 100,000 products were seized worth more than $4 million, said Sheriff Anthony Miranda at the same press conference. Though there are those who believe that this is going to become the wild, wild west of cannabis selling, we are saying clearly and loudly, no, it is not. We're going to take steps to stop the unlicensed store areas and stores that sell cannabis illegal products, Adams said. Our number one goal, we must get it right, because if you get it wrong, you can endanger this industry. Not 2 municipalities have gotten it right. That's the first right thing you said. Sheriff Miranda noted not only are these establishments evading taxes and putting legal businesses at a disadvantage to succeed, the products they are selling have the potential to endanger the health and safety of the public. That's fact. We remain especially concerned by the way these businesses have targeted underage consumers by selling products that are marketed directly to children. In many instances, the sheriff's office have seized illegal cannabis products with branding that appeals to younger people with colorful brand names such as Cheeto-infused snacks, Doritos spicy nachos, medicated, and Skittles, in addition to advertising gummies containing THC products. Critics, among them Senator Diane Savino of Staten Island, complained that the current state law just lacks the teeth necessary to weed out illicit operators. But Adams, who is joined by Dashida Dawson, director of Cannabis New York City, an office of the City Department of Small Business Services, stopped short of saying he would seek additional penalties, saying merely officials are discussing ideas. The black market is frustrating New York's efforts to get the legal cannabis industry off the ground, said Chris Alexander, executive director of the State Office of Cannabis Management that regulates the budding industry. State regulators recently awarded the first 36 licenses in New York to sell cannabis, 28 to retailers and 8 to not-for-profit groups. None have opened yet. What is it? That was the headline right there, really, and the reason as well. No, one is expected to open near Harlem's famed Apollo Theater. Meanwhile, Governor Kathy Hochul announced Thursday that each state-licensed cannabis store will have a special verification emblem, and each weed product will have a universal New York logo to prove they're legit until those get counterfeited. Still, critics say the rollout of New York's legal pre-roll sellers is turning into a bad trip. One recent study claimed they are likely tens of thousands of illicit cannabis businesses currently operating out of bodegas, smoke shops, and other storefronts in New York City, with some pop-up shops selling bad or dangerously tainted weed, a new study reveals. The Post even discovered 3 unlicensed cannabis shops in Sleepy Coo Gardens. A recent survey conducted by Upper West Side Councilwoman Gail Brewer's office revealed that 26 of the 61 bodegas, delis, and smoke shops checked were illicit cannabis sellers. That's back of the envelope math. That's about half. This is Yarrow Kubrin, High at 9 News, Monday morning. I'd like to know what you guys think.
Man, Yarrow, what is his plan, Yarrow? What's his plan if he says he can clean it up so fast? What is his plan?
Well, so there's first of all, understand everybody sees the world through their lenses and through their training. I know a lot of amazing police officers who went back to school, studied public administration, and became politicians, right? But we are all byproducts of our training. And so I think his approach is to fall back to the notion that enforcement is somehow going to limit the number of unregulated stores that are open in New York. It doesn't really sound like they have a plan, to be totally accurate.
Exactly.
Because when they say they're meeting and conferring, I don't know what meeting and conferring really means. I mean, we sit around a whiteboard.
I know what that means. I know what that means. That means expensive lunches at expensive restaurants and long, drawn-out conversations about doing nothing.
Are we going to hire a consultant for 6 figures to tell us what we know, but to put it on a pretty PowerPoint? Conferring does not sound like they have a strategy. And when you're in public policy, I think you can't do your job through the press or lament the problem. And typically it would be formulating a solution and then executing on that solution, measuring the efficacy or impacts, and then making adjustments to that policy. And we don't have any of that in this art.
Exactly. I think the fact that he's saying that he could get it done in just a matter of weeks and it would be done, like, oh man, you are out of your mind if you think that you could just clean that up that fast. Like,
well, and I think we've come to this point in human evolution where we've realized that we're probably going to get more shift and reduction from an unregulated market by using the carrot, not the stick. Because these unregulated stores are a byproduct of consumer demand for quality cannabis in one of the biggest metropolitan markets in the world.
Well, yeah,
and so if policymakers can solve that demand by standing up a plethora of regulated shops and make sure that the taxes don't create this big differential in price, then the greatest thing the regulated market has to offer consumers is quality, the lab testing and product quality assurances that come from a regulated supply chain.
Yeah, but you can't tout that when you're selling 2-year-old weed. I'm just saying.
I don't think I've ever smoked 2-year-old weed.
I mean, you go and buy some weed from a legal store in New York, and that's what you'll be doing.
Yeah.
Go buy a pre-roll. Go buy a pre-roll.
That weed would probably best be served being made into shelf-stable concentrates, because I like my cannabis as fresh as I like my wife's mouth.
Yeah, I bet. I'm with you on that. The fact that he even said that he could clean this up is just asinine to me. But
it sounds like somebody who's blowing hard into a microphone, and who comes from a smash and grab enforcement training mindset. And so I'm not mad at the man for having worn the blue uniform and served his city in other capacities, but I do think it creates a myopic approach to figuring out how to solve the symptom instead of seeing it as a symptom, thinking that smashing down these unregulated retail locations is going to be the way to support the regulated industry.
That's not how
I
it
think we have
works.
enough history to know that's probably not going to work.
That is not how it works, because you just reopen the next day. Time keeps on going on. We just keep on waking up in the till tomorrow. But
it's whack-a-mole. It's whack-a-mole politics.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I have two other stories for us. Are you ready for this, Yarrow?
Sure way.
I hope you are. All right. So